Hello out there, everyone. The time has finally come. I have gotten my hands on Thrones of Britannia for the first time. I know I've been talking about this for months, and I was thankfully just sent a review copy by Creative Assembly. So for the first time, I'm going to sit down and actually play it. Now for the next 2 days, I apparently have exclusive access to the Sudreyar campaign, which is one of the Viking Sea Kings. So I'm going to do a campaign playthrough for it, and if you can kind of join me along for the ride. You know, I just finished watching this exact moment in the Vikings TV show, so I've been really trying to hype myself up for the release. I actually didn't know I would be getting the campaign this early, so it's a bit of a surprise for me, to say the least. Personally, I did my master's degree in England on media depictions of Viking combat, and so when I heard they were doing a campaign just on the Vikings again, it really was pretty much exactly what I was looking for. Now, I will admit I was a little hesitant because personally my favorite portion of history was the Battle of Hastings. And, you know, when I heard 878, I'm like, that's really lame. You know, so close. But they actually found a way to include the Norman conquest into this game. So that's something I'm really looking forward to at the end of my Sudreyar campaign, is the arrival of the Normans and the Danes through Canute. You know, it's not quite historically on the date, but it does a great job of capturing that just sort of sudden attack of the Vikings. And here we go. Right, so that's the opening campaign menu. You'll notice the DLC is grayed out, so maybe there's forthcoming DLC. We can probably expect at least a Blood and Burning pack. They normally do those to avoid the PEGI rating, because, you know, people get a little upset if they think it's MPA 17. Before I begin a campaign, I always like to make sure to go and just click on a quick custom battle, get an idea what the units look like. Here's Sudreyar. Looks like we got 2 different types of axe units for generals. A lot of spears. Basic axe infantry. Seems to be really axe specialized. Not much on bows, not much on skirmishers, not so many cavalry. Yep, okay, so this is an axe-based game, which makes sense. After all, they are Vikings. Well, that's cool. So Sudreyar's icon is a Lewis chessman, which makes sense. I mean, they're on the Kingdom of the Isles, which is the west side of Scotland over there, all the islands, and that's actually where the Lewis chessmen were found. That's a really cool detail. Lewis chessmen are little tiny chess guys you can actually see in the British Museum, a whole set of them. They actually weren't originally used for chess. They think that it was a combination of chess and another game, the Viking game. If you ever read Terry Pratchett's Thud, the game they have in there is based on the Viking game, but it's the idea that you have defenders in the center and attackers on the outside. I'm not sure if I'm supposed to do this, but I would like to check this out. So this is the Normans. I am, as I said a minute ago, a huge Battle of Hastings nerd, and I'm okay with that. I've gone to Bayeux, I've gone to Hastings, I've done all that. I even crossed the English Channel on a boat just to see how bad it would have been for them. And the answer is, it's really rough even in the middle of summer. So I really want to see their faction roster. I'm not sure we'll have to do that yet, but I'm going to at least take a peek. Melees, horse carls, mailed spearmen, foot soldiers, a lot of good swords, makes sense. A little bit of axemen, yep. Some bows. That's really cool. So if you don't know the controversy, there's been a historical argument now for 15 years about whether or not the Normans actually had crossbows at the Battle of Hastings, and the fact that they included them is so stinking cool. If you look at the Bayeux Tapestry, there's a couple things in there that might have been crossbows, might not. We know they had the technology, we know they appear later, but they don't know whether or not they were actually there or not. But the fact that they actually put them in the game just is such a cool attention to detail. Knights, yep, proto-knights. You know, obviously some serious melee cavalry coming in there. I look forward to fighting those guys, I'll put it that way. Now, let's get down to the actual nitty-gritty, the campaign itself. New campaign. You'll see I've never even touched this before. I'm just so stinking excited. Okay, we're doing the Sea Kings and Sudreyar. Normal, slow start. Makes sense. Now, I will bump it up to hard for you guys on both sides because I'm sure you'd like to see me halfway get challenged. The traditional description being always that. Hard is for the experienced player. Fail horribly, just know that I'll probably cut the camera and restart a little back and then. I'm going to try not to save scam for you guys. World is used for the taking, send ships to conquer new lands. Tribute, other kingdoms pay tribute, sign of their submission. get tribute from other factions to gain bonuses. I'm not sure how. So basically, you're controlling other people, and to keep you away and to appease you, they send stuff. Pretty cool. Immune to high seas attrition, so we can assume we're going to do a lot of raiding. Field assembly. An assembly of freemen and lawmakers can be similar to the Wittengamot. People forget just how democratic society was at this time. You know, you have a bunch of people trying to scrape their living together, and so you're going to have basically these law courts or moots that come together. Just tons of people that, you know, have a voice and a say. So you may be a king, but you're only a king so long as people really agree with you. +5 supplies in foreign territory. Foreign territory, hell yes. Very strong axe and sword infantry. Has access to berserkers and Norse units. Good unit diversity. Victory objectives. Basic short conquest victory, long conquest victory, short fame, short kingdom. So I'm going to try and go for the kingdom victory. That's what I'm really excited about. I want to try and form my kingdoms. I assume this will be the Kingdom of the Isles, and this maybe will be, or maybe this is the Kingdom of the Isles. I'm not sure. But Borneo and Difflin control 25 ports. Wow, that is a lot of objectives. This is one of the few games in a very long time that I'm actually excited to play anybody I can get my hands on. I think the last time I felt like this was probably Skyrim. I don't suppose it's a coincidence Skyrim also had Huskarls, though.
The great army may have terrorized England, but we have preyed on these isles for decades. The sea is in our blood. From our island homes, we set out for glory and plunder.
That they did.
But we don't just want to raid and pillage. We want to create a mighty kingdom.
Yep.
A strong king can lead us to glory, so we can build our legacy. By sea, no throne is beyond our reach. In time,
very true statement.
All these lands will be ours.
Okay, and that is the Viking Sea Kings
intro. The
intro.
Western Isles are your fiefdom, but you deserve more. Your people are sea raiders and fighters with the drive to take on the world. Strengthen your hold on the Isles and be ready to take advantage of the instability in the south. While the Southerners squabble, you can become the true power in Britannia. One of your armies is stationed at your capital, ready to defend it. Your other army is well placed to combat the rebels to the east. Crush this local threat to secure your holdings.
Okay. Mission objectives. We should stabilize internally before we look beyond our borders. Provide your right to rule and eliminate the nearby rebels. Eliminate the rebels in Apocryphon, grants internal stability. I popped myself down here because I actually kind of want you guys to see the advisor. Looks a heck of a lot like Lagertha from Vikings, if you watch our show, or just any of your basic Norse shield maiden types. I think that's really cool. They even gave her a little scar just to let you know she's an actual badass. Already, compared to Attila, this is running a heck of a lot smoother. And here's our dude. Now, recruitment looks a little bit differently now, in that we apparently muster directly from this guy. How in the hell do I recruit new people? It used to be there's just like a little button. So there's not a building for it anymore, so I'm honestly a little confused. Do I have the ability to recruit new people? No, because it's going to be independent, so I should always be at least getting my levy troops. Can't recruit right now because we're not garrisoned or in a fortify stance. I am definitely a cautious person, especially when I don't know what the rebels look like. I could probably take them this turn, but you know what? Let's just go ahead and be careful. We might as well recruit something else. We can also find out what we actually have available. Technology is another way you have to actually get the stuff in here, so you can't get to your higher level guys. So you research something, and I'm sure that Armored Defenders here is locked. We don't really have any high tier sword infantry now. We got 2 axes. Wouldn't mind a nice backbone that we can put our army on. Now you'll notice there's a limit to actually how many of each units you can have right now, so armies become a heck of a lot more valuable. Now it'll take a couple turns for those guys to actually muster. They don't just appear at full strength anymore, which is a heck of a change from earlier games, but the whole idea is designed to make it feel like actually creating an army. You know, realistically, you would, as a lord at the time, would sit down, they'd do a summons, and you know, hey, all their lords and retainers would come to their aid. You look at the map here, where you have basically all the islands in the northwest under our control, but that's a heck of a campaign. So we have fishing, we have Oh, alright, I see what's happening. These are the minor settlements for this one, and this is the one where we are controlling. Goodness, it's so weird to say it, but it's such a very big map. You don't really notice it at first, but you know, I'm just scrolling around it right now, and I mean, even zooming out, this is still just the Highlands of Scotland. Haven't even reached the lowlands yet. There we go. Now we're getting in the lowlands, and now we're getting, good night, it's just so vast. And that's sort of an issue in previous Total War games, is, you know, you felt like you were always just jumping from siege to siege to siege. But now, since you can't siege minor settlements, you either attack them or don't. The only fortified locations are your big ones, your big cities. It's going to encourage a lot of field battles. Good night. Look, and the camera just keeps going. And then down here, there would be Normans. Let's check our diplomacy before we go anywhere else, see who likes us, see who doesn't. Most people seem to be basically okay with this with our neighbors. So let's get some trade agreements going. Trade's default now. I forgot about that. Yeah, there are, as long as you aren't at war with someone, you automatically trade. It's just a little less busy work to have to do. Can we go for a military alliance? Nope, that's insulting, which frankly it probably should be. There's no real reason. Now, Difflin, on the other hand, let's see if we can declare friendship. Yeah, sure, why not? Wait, I think I have to hold Difflin. I don't know. If we're trading with people, let's just kind of leave it in the open right now. Technology-wise, they said we need to recruit, find how to get mailed armored defenders. But before we get armored defenders, we have to recruit 10 sword or axe units. I've already recruited one, so we're on our way. Definitely kind of easing you into it in this one. Okay, let's just end the turn and see what happens. There's just, whenever you encounter a new game, there's just so much information to take in all at once. Now, I'm playing on a solid state drive, and that took maybe 5-6 seconds, so the in-turn times have also increased.
For such power makes men susceptible to ideas above their station.
Yeah, that's one of the new really big things that's changed in this game. Oh, hey, look, we just put an icon up top there. Hey, you have an unsigned skill. Let's go ahead and just start moving that way. We'll kind of stop just short and let our guys heal up for another turn. Where am I most likely to get attacked? Probably on the mainland. So let's go ahead and bump both these so we can afford it. And we can. Right. Forgot to assign a skill, but it's alright, we can do it next turn. We're taking attrition. I did not think about that. I honestly didn't know there was a season cycle. So instead of just wasting a lot of guys, let's actually send them back. Let them muster. Alright, so Gisley is a governor. You have a point to spend. If he's governing, we want to make sure to... great. Trustworthy, boring, urbane, discreet, but he's a preacher. Overall, exactly what you want from a governor. So, don't need to be a champion. Scribe's probably going to be good. More money, more governance. Zeal, not so much. Foreigner, pillager, nope. Quartermaster, priest. How's his loyalty looking? Loyalty's just fine. Influence, he's just fine. Siege engineer. Seems to me like we will go with a scribe for our first level. I see what they mean now. The Sudreyar is really quite a slow start. It's much more about building up your infrastructure and then sort of going from there. But while we're doing that, since we have so much extra money, let's go ahead and maybe put together a Viking army to go attack people with. After all, we're based on boats, and there's no reason to just sit around on our laurels doing nothing. Much cost difference, but we get a lot more stats. Upkeep's only 20 different, but that's also why you can only recruit one of them. And then we'll throw in a nice 2 set of spears, maybe a javelin or 2, cavalry, because why not? And then we're out of money. Well, no, we're not. We're inside of recruitment slots, I guess. No. Recruitment costs 255. Oh, yeah, no, I was out of money. Your faction is consuming more food than it produces. You can resolve this by dissipating units or capturing construction food province buildings. Oh, hell. That is new. And I don't get that money back. Man, this game is a lot more punishing for dumb decision making. I did not know these guys consume food. Did it tell me that somewhere and I was not paying attention? Yeah, right there. If you can see, it says, if I can pin this, 10 food, and I just tanked my economy in one single move. I am so sorry for anyone watching, but please learn from my mistakes. Let's just let my economy recover and pretend that didn't happen, yeah? Yeah, the Orkneys were actually one of the first places colonized by the Norse or Vikings, and he's bringing the fight to us. Field of Assembly, training the Viking army. The Thing, the great thing, that moot I was talking about, your big collective assembly of lords. The Thing would like to see you mount an expedition soon. Before you can do so, you should gather your resources, provisions, and outfit your longships. Ensure those who set out for the far corners of the world are well prepared. That better way to achieve aims than to sack a nearby settlement. Your warriors will take whatever may be useful for future expeditions, while enjoying the opportunity to test their skills against unsuspecting foes. Sack any settlement. A fleet of Viking raiders has arrived south of Britannia. Thank God that is not us. The Viking. Our guys are basically well mustered. These guys are coming on harassing us pretty hard, so this seemed like a good time as any to actually go in and remind them exactly who they're dealing with.
Battle is upon you.
Now, it wouldn't be a playthrough if I didn't actually fight the battle. Normally I'll probably auto-resolve that one, but honestly I'm really excited to see how the actual battles play. That's tough. Shh, I have a dog. Hello, Beatrice. Say hello to the world. This is Beatrice. Yes, that's right. I call her Beatrice.
Must be deployed before battle.
Yes, they
Left
must.
click on units to select them, and right click on the terrain to instantly
So there is a new
select
critical
them.
hit chance here. Put our spear on the sides. Start off with a little bit of Viking archers right in the center. I always like to have my... And then we'll kind of reinforce with these guys. Okay.
Heavy melee infantry are best
kind of
deployed
advance up.
defensively, or as a vanguard to engage the enemy infantry. Consider keeping a few units in reserve.
Royal bodyguards, that's gonna
Response
suck.
defense.
7 spearmen, archers, raider cavalry. Okay, so for right now, we'll plan on our...
Quick on the pace! Quick speed, warriors! Speed up!
Plan on these guys kind of moving over to the right. We do have the shield castle, but that just increases missile block chance. We don't need guard mode for this. You guys are on skirmish, which is fine. And I really need to get these guys back a little bit. So, both my archers need to stay out of the way. Spearmen need to run on forward. Man, guys actually move really fast in this battlefield. I think they definitely tweaked that a little bit. Okay, folks, there's no reason for you to be shooting right into the front of somebody's shields. That'll be about worthless as a technique. Right, it's hold down shift. I was trying to remember how to do that really quick, so you can actually draw where you want people to go. Don't need that pin anymore. I'll worry about that later. There's warriors. Okay. You know what? If they're gonna let me. Okay. Alright, now let's get our archers in a position they can actually do some damage. Oh, come on. Cavalry.
Archers! Archers! Let's fly!
Those Alban riders. These guys from the side. You know what? No. Yeah, go for it.
Our general is under attack.
Alright. So General that's out there. Do not want to leave that guy out in the... Alright, don't let up here. They're going for my cav. Or they're going for my archers. I knew they would eventually.
The battle is turning in our favor.
Luckily. spearmen. Get over here. God, I just rammed right into them. I apologize for not making this a really comprehensive fight here, but
Our men run from the enemy.
fortunately these guys are
Shameful.
alright, come on. Folks, I need you to run this way. Come on, get him, get him, get him, get him, get him. Alright, pump a couple arrows into these last few morons. Love that. Knock him right off the horse. Alright, man, we're getting kited here, folks. You know what? Shields up. Nothing they can do about it now. Eventually they'll run out of ammo. And frankly, they can sort of deal with it in the meantime. I do like that when folks are broken in this game, you'll notice they're just slowly limping away. You know, definitely look like broken, dejected. Now, to me anyway, it's a cool detail that you'll notice people aren't fighting to the death, which very rarely happen in Viking battles anyway. I mean, people always think that, oh, you know, it's these giant massacres with folks just, you know, smacking each other until there's nobody left on the field. But I mean, realistically, casualties very rarely went above 30%. If you want a great example of that, there's a book called The Face of Battle by David Keegan. Really seminal work from the 70s that kind of goes into the psychology of Hellenistic, you know, basically just warfare throughout the period from Hellenistic all the way to modern. Now, I'm just going to kind of let these guys eat that arrow fire because there's no reason for them not to. I mean, they're basically taking no casualties right now. And then I'm going to let my archers do the dirty work. Right now, I really wish I had a little bit of cavalry, if I'm honest. Hate having to fight skirmishers. So, let's make ourselves a nice little line here. Smack these guys in the meantime. You know what? Let's bring you over here. Get a better shot. Yep, and eventually they just ran away because nobody wants to fight archers. That's the battle. Took, what, 7 minutes? Decisive victory. Alright, first battle of Sudreyar. Let's see who the champions were. Axemen, surprise, are where it's at. These guys were way more effective than I thought they were going to be, especially for unarmored fighters here. Didn't take really bad damage either, especially for having that, so that's good to remember for future armies. So let's hunt these guys down, and you'll excuse me if I don't actually fight this one all the way through. Boom, done.
My abilities have been boosted.
Get some internal stability. Very cool. Now our next task was to actually raid a settlement. And the closest settlements are across the mountains, up through the highlands. That would be, it's probably Inverness. Actually, yeah, Inverness. I've been to Scotland a while ago, so that's Inverness. That would be Loch Ness. And then somewhere around here would be Ben Lomond, big ass mountain, probably that guy. All this map is based on actual geography and geographic systems. Hey, my commander got a level. We can lower enemy campaign, champion, more command, more melee skill, more replenishment, more raiding, more campaign movement range. Siege engineer. I'm a big fan of champion right now because this is going to be my butt kicker for a little while. So let's let him do his butt kicking. So let's start making our jolly way across the highland. We'll go all the way to the border, then fortify, then go from there. And my economy is slowly recovering from my moronic error earlier. You know, previously food has always felt a little goofy to me, like how it works. It's like, you know, your people are fed, they're not. I mean, starvation, whatever. But actually having a food requirement as well as a monetary requirement for your units kind of makes more sense, you know, because it's not just you're paying them to be there, you have to pay them and also feed them. So food is a hell of a lot more important in this one. War declarations. None of them on me, although apparently the Vikings landed in East Angle. not us. So we can't. Oh, we can actually just. So I guess I didn't go my full 50% yet, so I can just pop right into Fortify. And then we'll be almost fully healed next turn. Requires 10 food. Yeah, they're not kidding about the importance of food. I was wondering why there were so many fishing ports built around. The music's really relaxing too. I kind of play Total War to chill personally. But, you know, chill, but also recreate and have fun. So it's just sort of the interesting mix right there. Let's see. I think I can get there before winter. I can get there before winter. Let's risk it. My personal feeling on Viking style armies is that you gotta be aggressive. As the old cheerleaders go, they go aggressive, be aggressive. Orkneyar, though, appears to be one of my friends. I should probably not attack my friends. They could be a little pissy about that sort of thing. So, Fort Rue, though, is a different culture. You can tell because he's got his little Gaelic symbol. But Orkneyar, on the other hand, though, is... they're also a Sea King. They're also our military ally. Ah, shit. Get through their lands.
This is not right.
Alright, fine. I'll bribe you. Stinking jokers. Right, that enough? Yeah.
This seems fair.
Thanks. Some military ally you are. Call to arms. Orkneyar is attacking Fort True, which is where I'm already going anyway. Ethics matter. So they should tell you why people do or don't like you now, which is super nice. People like to give Total War AI a hard time, but the fact that I just crossed into their borders, whenever allies the Welsh faction fight against Mercia. Since the death of Rodri the Great, Wall has fallen back in the divisions. So Wales has Gavelkind secession. So after Rodri the Great, who basically turned Wales into a nation, died, he got shot back up and divided between his 4 sons. So at the start of this game, you actually start as one of those sons. You have to kind of fight to get it all back. And apparently, Mercia made the bad choice of invading Wales. Wales is sort of like Russia. You don't really invade it unless you have to. Especially not in winter. Now, I am currently taking attrition, so let's get our butts in there and take Fort True and hopefully get rid of that attrition.
Your army suffers.
See, I'm always an occupier. I love to occupy. But I'm playing a Viking faction, and Vikings don't occupy unless they have to. We're just gonna sack it. We'll sack it. Sack, right? And then can we just occupy now? Yeah, sack and occupy. I hope that doesn't come back to bite me in the future. So this is our big fortified keep that we're eventually going to have to take. Yeah, I could repair that. Or I could upgrade my fisheries. More supplies, more trade. Yeah, let's build some more fish, because we now know just how important that is. Apparently you're going to need a hell of a lot of food to play this game. Unhappy people, replenishment. Alright, I'm building some farms elsewhere, so we're just going to let that ride for a turn and see what happens. So you really got to build up because you don't have a lot of supplies on that island. You kind of are expanding out from it. I really don't want to get embroiled in some sort of long-term land war here, especially over on the right-hand side. What I really want to be doing is getting in boats, going out and smacking people around for a little bit. Okay, let's continue our lovely Viking march up into Foray. Now, obviously, Inverness is going to be a little pissed off, but we can't do anything to stop that anyway, because this just would take away something else. Not going to destroy it, but Inverness will probably revolt again, and we'll see what kind of army they bring up, which I'm not concerned about. Probably should be. We'll deal with them when we get there.
Public order is becoming a problem.
Yeah, I know it is. So my goal here is, let's finish taking this whole little area. Sack. Morning, buddy. And hi there. Say hello. Look hello? Right there and say hello. Hi. Hello, everybody.
Hello.
And then finally, we'll lay siege to Torrendun. Okay, we'll see how this goes. I like how your general has a nice icon above him, so you don't lose him.
Battle has commenced, so your troops can now advance in search of the enemy. Order your forces forward. The enemy will come into
Spearmen.
view once their forces are close.
Let's get those guys forward and start pepper people with arrows.
To win a siege battle, you must either capture the victory point or rout all the defenders.
Right, so our goal is that victory point. Go in there. But considering that it's on the high ground, that's going to be easier said than done. Alright, we've taken the walls.
Axemen! Crush them! Crush them!
The enemy's gates have been destroyed!
We've lost our siege captain! Bring death! Beware missiles! General! Command us! And now! Battle order! Siege engine! Crush them! Crush them!
The courage of the men in battle begins to fail, and they rout from the fight. You must attempt to break the enemy's forces before they do the same to you.
Axemen! Move it, men! I don't want to die! Got them! Drag your mouths!
What can we do with you guys? Let's go in here and start taking stuff with this cavalry. Cavalry in this period is not very strong, so we're going to try and do something a little sneaky.
Foremen! Hasten yourselves! They got me! Move it, men! Shields up!
Our general is under attack!
Let's fly!
The heart has gone out of our men. They refuse to fight on.
Swordsman! What enemy charge! Swordsman!
Alright, folks, let's get in here.
Ready! Swordsman! Ready! End them! Battle orders! Gun them down! Attack! Battle orders! Make haste!
Our men run from the
I
enemy.
didn't pay attention and it ran right into a bunch of spear guys. All my spear battles, man. All these battles.
Axemen! Ready for war! Attack! Our foes will fall! Crush them! Break on the pace! Shift it! With speed, warriors! Enemy charge! Right! Take cover! Here they come! Ready for war!
Our men have turned tail and run. The cowards.
Archers! Watch out! Up the pace, man! Quick on the pace! Move it, man! Our foes will fall! Where's the fight?
Apologize for lack of commentary in this. It's just not going particularly well. So I've gotten flanked in the backhand side, so I gotta make sure to get these guys back off this wall. For some reason my archers wanted to make sure to charge randomly into battle. And they all died. So let's get the archers into the walls and actually start providing some cover fire. My elven spearmen. Those guys are fine. Come on.
Our men run from the enemy. This is shameful. The battle is turning in our favor.
Archers! Fire on them!
Let's see if we can actually hit these guys from here. Should be able to. Not an easy shot, but it is possible.
Axemen! With speed, warriors!
Alright. Strategic withdrawal, and then re-attack.
Battle awaits! Crush them!
See, they flee before our might.
Archers out of arrows.
Here come the Paris! Move it there!
The men have been routed. They are leaving the field.
Okay.
Move it, man!
Let's march in and occupy. I think that should be the fight. We probably got some guys hidden somewhere that we'll discover here in a minute. So let's keep an eye out. I love that as these guys walk by, they just sort of set fire to things because why not? We're Vikings. Just toss some stuff up there, light it up. Here's our final guy.
Battle awaits! Spearmen! General! Spearmen!
Yeah, those spears aren't going to do it. Get him out of the way.
With speed, warriors!
The men have been routed. They are leaving the field.
Rally.
Ready! Break end them! Quicken the pace! Hasten yourselves!
Cool looking Viking guys in there, smacking around some Alban spearmen. Should be able to win this. Yeah, I was about to say, losing decisively should be the right answer there. There it goes. And everybody routs. And that is a good end to our first little playthrough. So we successfully managed to take that entire province, a little bit of rebellion, and we learned a lot about how food works. But join us for part 2, where we actually take to the waves and actually show what the Vikings are capable of now that we got a good strong base. A lot of really cool systems to play with here, so come back for part 2.